Yeah, I can agree with this video. Just because I can agree with it doesn't mean I'm finished changing. Well, in an earlier recording tonight, I sat with Coral and talked about a whole bunch of stuff and ended up taking pride in how I made a mess of things, which I'm not sure how to feel about right now. Because on one hand, yeah, that is my truth. I made a mess of things. But in the other hand, I also managed something that I wasn't even sure was possible. So to erase it would be to erase something about myself that I only discovered because of those circumstances. I definitely never want to put anyone through such stress ever again. But at the same time, I can't ignore talking about the problem or talking about the situation, the way I learned from it. Because if I were to do that, then I'd lose one of the greatest inspiration sources of my life. And I agree with this part. Thinking of quitting a habit or quitting something is training your endurance by seeing how long you can go before, like, having a moment of weakness or falling back into the habit, then doing it again and hoping to go further next time. You're not starting over just because you did it again. How long did you just manage to go without it? Be proud of that and try again. And I am doing my best to just not, because I I can have a million and one theories. I can have a million and one little simulations in my head. Regardless of how many simulations there are, how many times the simulations become accurate, that doesn't change the reality that the other person isn't going to be comfortable with me as I am. Not because they want to push me away, but because to go through that kind of emotional work and everything would be like trying to rush. I don't even know if there's any comparable time scale for how long. It would be between X number of years over Y number of years, X being the larger number. There's no comparing how long it will take to go through your own personal growth or struggle to how long you're willing to work at it, because it's not a linear process. Spending time with someone is a linear process, and in a sense, depending on how you feel around that person, you can create a ratio between years of emotional weight to actual relative time spent. But when sorting through your own issues and trauma and things you don't understand as misunderstandings, you can't do the same. There's too many details. Even if I've been trying to bum rush recovery For myself, I'm still struggling with it because recovery doesn't always mean moving on. Sometimes recovery means acknowledgement without erasure, without saying that it didn't happen. I'm currently right around here at passive curiosity, but this is where I want to be standing. Well, meh chosen indifference between meh and passive curiosity. I'm kind of stuck here. Sometimes I slip up and fall down, but I built ladders so I can get back up to here and continue. Which is probably one of the reasons why it's so hard for me to move on from, like, even this level. And I sometimes end up just down here again. But I'm no longer stuck over here next to death. Because I know I'm worth more than dying over a concept that isn't even real, that isn't even another person. And so I use it as a form of creation. I use my struggles through everything on my way over to here in actual indifference. I use everything between as inspiration for personal growth, for understanding what went wrong. Where did I make the assumptions about someone else? How could I do better just to make sure I don't hurt people the same way again? Because I'm going to be real. I can't promise that I'm not going to hurt someone again. Not because I would want to, but because there are still things I don't understand, things I can't change about myself that will persist regardless of my efforts. And so I've got to live with that. I've got to live with what I don't know and how that could potentially hurt other people. So instead of panicking or being paranoid over it, I just allow myself to exist and try my best to be honest and work on my ability to communicate. But my version of communication is different from other people's. Because, well, I built up some pretty fancy defenses. I shouldn't take pride in that, but hey, brain is going to anyway, so it's like, why the fuck not just let the moment be the moment and then worry about it afterwards? Linguistic walls of text, an inability to sit with true vulnerability after getting hurt like that, let alone to know that half of how I got hurt like that is because I couldn't accept that I hurt someone else so dear to me. And so yeah, not physically, just psychologically and emotionally self-harm. I've got a psychological restriction that prevents me from doing it physically, so it's not an option. I'm not a healthy person. I do hope someone realizes that. I don't really care who. I don't really care why or what or when or where. I just hope more people are capable of recognizing that when I say you are in danger because something in me has gotten riled up, that isn't me trying to state a threat. That is me trying to warn you so that way you can go and walk off and live your own life instead of getting caught up and entangled by what I don't even understand of myself. I'm scared. bit scared sometimes. I don't get to display or show that because no one wants to interact with that. No one knows how to handle it when they themselves are already overwhelmed. So I just persist. I'm just glad I'm physically tortured every day. Oh my goodness. I don't want to compare my pain to someone else's, and by all means, everyone goes through pain differently. Why the fuck does that do that? Okay, but genuinely, I'm I'm lucky to be still living with my mom and still somehow making progress on little things bit by bit when the world outside is collapsing. My mom's health is declining and I don't know how to take care of that. I don't know how to pay bills. I don't know how to do a lot of things. But for now, I'm still here and so are the people I care about, so I'm not giving up. Because if I give up now, then that just makes it harder on the people I care about. And they deserve to at least have someone fighting by their side and alongside them. Form, ability, power. The difference is instinct. To care about others is not to have but no instinct. It is to wield instinct as an extension of understanding that physical violence only produces short-term results. Sometimes it can produce long-term results, but that long-term result often comes with a consequence. And thus it's not worth it 9 times out of 10, unless you can completely obliterate your enemy. And a lot of things are interconnected, so obliterating your enemy often just draws more consequences to you. So unless the enemy attacks you, it's better to just wait, prepare, figure out what you can, grow what skills you can, prepare yourself for what you know how to do, and live as best you can alongside other people. Because that's all everything is trying to do, is just live, just survive. There's nothing more to it than that. Nothing more to it.